Welcome back to Coffee with Mia. Pour yourself a cup of coffee or your favorite beverage. Take a deep breath and let's spend a few minutes together. Today, I want to talk about something that every one of us experiences. The conversation we never have. Not because we don't know what to say, and not because we don't care. It's because we're afraid of what might happen after the conversation. Sometimes we convince ourselves to wait. We tell ourselves, well, tomorrow will be better. And when tomorrow comes, we say, you know what, let me hold it off until next week. Now it's next week, and we tell ourselves, well, let me wait until the timing is better. We realize there's never really a better time, so we want to wait until emotions settle. Well, now maybe our emotions have settled, but we don't know about the other person, so now we wait because we want to be more prepared. But life has a funny way of showing us that tomorrow isn't promised. Now, while we waited for the perfect moment, days have become months. Months become years. And before we know it, silence has become our answer. The truth is, most of us aren't afraid of the conversation itself. We're afraid of the outcome. We're afraid someone will reject us. Maybe they'll misunderstand us. Maybe they won't want to hear anything and just walk away. Or maybe they'll get more upset. Or maybe we're afraid that they won't say what we're hoping to hear. So we stay quiet. And sometimes silence feels safer than honesty. But is it really safer? I think before we talk about the conversations we need to have with other people, we need to start somewhere even closer to home. Ourselves. Because some of the most important conversations we'll ever have happen quietly inside our own mind. And ask ourselves questions like, am I really happy? What am I pretending not to know? Am I living the life I truly want, or living a life that everyone expects me to live? What am I afraid to change? These aren't easy questions. In fact, many of us stay so busy that we don't even give ourselves a chance to answer the questions. We fill every quiet moment with noise. It could be TV or scrolling through social media. Anything that doesn't give us long enough to listen. Because we may hear something that we've been trying to ignore. Sometimes the hardest truth to hear is our own. Once we're honest with ourselves, now another set of conversations are waiting for us. Now this brings us back to the conversations we never had with other people. Maybe it's saying, I'm sorry. 3 little words. Sometimes they are the hardest words in the English language. And it's not because we don't mean them. It's just saying them requires humility. Saying I'm sorry means letting go of your pride. That brings us to another conversation and another 3 words. I forgive you. Now, forgiveness doesn't always mean what happened is okay. Sometimes forgiveness means you're deciding that you don't want yesterday to keep stealing today. Maybe it's another 3 words. I need help. Those three words can be surprisingly difficult because we live in a world that celebrates independence, a world that celebrates strength and doing it all. But I'll tell you something. Real strength isn't pretending that everything is fine. Real strength is knowing when you're not fine. How many people struggle quietly because they feel asking for help will make them look weak? The truth is, it makes us look human. And what about saying thank you? Not the automatic thank you that we say every day. The intentional thank you. The one where we stop someone and say, I never told you how much you mean to me. Now, just imagine hearing those words. Imagine saying them. How many people never know the difference they made because no one ever told them? How about, I love you? We assume people know. We think there will always be another birthday, another holiday, another phone call, or another visit until one day, but there isn't. And we wish we would have said what was sitting in our hearts all along. Sometimes the conversation sounds different. That hurt me. Not to have an argument, not to keep score. It's because relationships can't heal wounds that no one will acknowledge. Or maybe it's this relationship isn't healthy anymore. Some conversations don't repair relationships. Sometimes they redefine them. And that's okay too. Healthy boundaries aren't walls. They're actually doors. They allow healthy people in and unhealthy people out. Here's what I've learned. The most difficult conversations do not become easier because we wait. They become heavier. We rehearse them in our minds 100 times. We imagine every possible response. We lose sleep. We build entire stories of what the other person might say. And most of the time, the conversation in our imagination is much worse than the conversation that actually happened. Sometimes we carry a burden that could have been lifted in 30 minutes. 30 honest minutes. Now, does every conversation end well? Unfortunately, no. Sometimes people don't apologize. Sometimes they don't understand. Sometimes they disappoint us. Sometimes they choose not to change. But even then, you know you spoke your truth with kindness, honesty, and respect. Because our responsibility is not to control someone else's response. Our responsibility is to have the courage to be authentic. One conversation can change everything. It can heal a family. It could save a relationship or open a door to a new opportunity. Or it could just allow you to lay your head on your pillow at night, knowing you finally said what needed to be said. And sometimes the conversation that changes your life isn't with another person. It's the one where you finally tell yourself, I deserve peace, I deserve happiness. You can finally tell yourself, I don't have to keep proving my worth. I'm allowed to begin again. Now those conversations matter just as much, maybe even more. As we finish our coffee together, I want to leave you with one question. Was there someone who came to your mind when you were listening? Maybe a name, a face, or a conversation you've been putting off. If there was, maybe that's not a coincidence. Maybe your heart has been quietly telling you that some conversations don't belong in tomorrow's calendar. They belong in today's courage. It's not because every conversation will have a happy ending, because silence doesn't give us the ending we're hoping for either. So if you're carrying words you need to say, maybe today is the day. Not perfectly, not fearlessly, just honest. As always, I thank you for spending your time with me. And if this episode spoke to your heart, maybe you need to share it with someone who needs to hear it. Until next time, take care of yourself, take care of each other, and remember, life is not a dress rehearsal. What are you waiting for?